The final step in most Smoke projects is to archive that project out of your managed media. This may be done for several reasons. First, to clear up storage space so you can have room for other projects, or this may also be the best way to send that project to somebody else. You can create an archive that you can then store on a drive and send to somebody else for them to restore on their own Smoke system. So we're going to look at the creation of an archive of this project that we've been working on. Archive creation is all handled in the Media Hub, so I'm going to click on the Media Hub tab. And up at the top, I'm going to click on the option for Archives. This is the area I mentioned near the beginning of this course where you would come if you wanted to restore material for an archive. Now we're going to look at the other side of the process. When you want to create an archive, you want to first navigate where you want that archive to go. I'm here in my Footage for Videos folder, that's fine, but navigate wherever you'd like to create this archive. When I'm ready to create an archive, I need to first click the button down here at the bottom for New Archive. When you create an archive, you may want to limit the size of the files that are created by that archive. This doesn't mean you'll be limited to only archiving that much material. It means that it will create individual files of different sizes that add up to that final archive. This is something you might do if you're planning to store this archive on a certain type of media and you want to make sure the files the archive creates will fit on that media. So you'll notice if you click in this window to see what the different types are, what we will see are different file sizes that relate to different types of media. Are you planning to archive this project and store it burned on DVDs or Blu-rays? You have files that are that size. We have the file size for putting this onto a 1 terabyte drive or an LTO tape. You have some different options there. You can also create a custom file size. Now, you don't have to limit your archive size. You can turn that limit file size off, and whatever file size it is, you'll get one archive file that contains everything from that project. I'm going to go ahead and leave limit file size off, and I'm going to keep the default name, which is the name of my project with archive added at the end. And I'm going to click create. I'm now inside of this archive and can decide what I want to archive into it. I could bring individual libraries over to include them in this archive. Or I could choose to archive the entire project. That's what I'm going to do here. By clicking on Archive Project, I'm telling Smoke, take everything involved in that project and create an archive out of it. One great thing about doing that is that this is one way to find out how big your archive would be, and this is information you might want before deciding whether or not to limit your file size. It's telling me that for all of the media and all of the things that I've created inside of this project, I'm going to need 184 gigabytes to archive it. Now, the reason for that, you might be thinking to yourself that the media you downloaded to begin this project was only 5 gigabytes. How is it possible I'm creating an archive that's so large? The reason for that is when we create a Smoke archive, in order to make sure that archive will open properly on any Smoke system, it will create the managed media versions of the files inside of that archive. There is no way to create an archive with just links to outside media. Our archives will hold all of our media inside of it. Now, I'm not going to take the time to make this 185 gigabyte archive. I just wanted you to see this option, so I'm going to cancel that. Once I've created the archive and put the material into it, I then want to close that archive. And even though I haven't put media into this archive yet, I do still have access to it. And I could at a later time open this archive and put more material into it. So by selecting that, you notice I get the option to open an archive. And again, this archive option is the best way to make sure you've taken everything with you that you worked on that project for either your long-term storage or to send to somebody else. And that is the Smoke 2013 Essentials course. In a moment, I'll give you some other steps you might take now that you've finished this course.